Hello there, and we are live. So, people, you are welcome to episode 2, people, of our new season, people, of the Dal N Claude show, people. You're welcome today, This is the only show that we've had 2 episodes this season, so, people, you know what it is, people. Smash up the likes after you come in. Show some respect, some respect to my guy, my brother, Oregon, the Dal N. Oregon, talk to these people. How you doing, mate? Hope you're good.
I'm doing pretty good, Tony. Good to see you again. Some wild news we've had in the last couple of days. Ready for a double Brazilian signing. I mean, the double. Let's do the double, right? Let's get it done. But no, it's been an interesting 2 or 3 days, of course, with transfer news, but I know we'll dive into that, but all's good. All's good on my side. How are you been, Tony?
Yeah.
How have you been?
Man, I mean, see, Oregon's I've been buzzing behind the scenes. I mean, it's just good to see, our enemies shake,
Right.
And quake under the pressure, seeing Arsenal doing what we're doing in the market, making reverberations, making noise all over the market. We're everywhere like 50 Cent, everywhere for the big-time players, everywhere looking for big-time signings, and our enemies are on their knees, begging and pleading and saying, please, Real Madrid, please, Newcastle, don't sell these key players to Arsenal. If not, we're dead. See, I mean, and again, this forms a fulcrum, the basis for our show today. Because Oregon, I'm not gonna allow you just run wild and free today. I'm gonna check you on some certain things. It's gonna be a goddamn war.
Right.
Even if we want justice, in some places,
bring the justice.
We'll come around the table. We'll come around the corner. But I mean, Oregon, we have to talk about Arsenal's transfer window. Last week when you came down here, on our show, of course, Ola was here, I mean,
right.
You had your say. Ola had his say. Thank God, me and you are just here together, so we have enough time to really get, into the nitty-gritty with lots of time to explain. I mean, you didn't give our window up to 5 over 10 last week. Oregon, with what is going on right now, are you coming around the corner and saying, you know what, the weight might, that weight is looking a little bit like, the rise of the shining sun right now. I would take what I'm taking right now, than, downgrade it last week. Where are you within this transfer window right now, bro? Shout out to the Assembled. Assembled is here.
Shout out to the Assembled. Good seeing.
Says good evening, everyone.
Right now, without the signing of Bruno Guimaraes just yet, and only the Vini links, I'm giving the window a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. 2 out of 10. I mean, TZOLIS looks like he's decent. Yay, we're bringing in another goalkeeper. Where's the signings, Tony? Where's the signings?
No. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Right.
Won't you take this speculations we are in right now? Yeah, the way it's looking right now. Right. Won't you take it? Yeah.
Yes.
Than going out there and being linked to half-baked players or players that are not at par with what we think will drive us forward in this football club. Won't you rather be in this space right now, being linked to the kind of profile of players like Bruno Guimaraes in his own right, who's one of the best in the Premier League in his position? And again, you're looking at Vinicius Jr. and then you're saying, oh my God, how is Arsenal being linked to the best in the business? Yeah, I mean, this is not something we can say that we've done, in a whole a lot of years that we've been Arsenal fans, going for the best of the players in the business. And you can see concrete links, not just hocus pocus or this fake thing going on. There's real, very, very real connections that we are in that shout for this big time players in big time big
I think
business.
it can get done. I think it can get done, though. I do. I think I think we can do it, right? But I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Them to say, oh, it was really extreme speculation, but here's Marcus Rashford on August 15th or something, right? I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, because I'm like you. It's like,
but Arsenal's not being linked to Rashford, though. We have to be fair in our analysis. We're not being linked with.
But remember
Rashford
the Sterling.
right now,
I just don't want another Sterling signing, right? When they surprised us, the big signing was Raheem Sterling. Remember that, Tony? We had to endear Raheem Sterling for a while, and I think the links are very much there. I think we can do it because it's already been, all the work's being done internally. We're giving him 100% of his image rights. We're giving him around $475 a week. And he'll be in London. He'll be closer even to the Rock Nation headquarters in London. And also, this goes back a bit, Tony. And besides the links, this goes back a bit to the bust up between Tchouaméni and Valverde, right? That really split the Madrid dressing room in half. You had your French contingent side, right? And then your more Spanish contingent side and some of the older heads at Madrid sort of clashing, right? So it put a real crack into the first team with that Tchouaméni and Valverde fight. I do believe there's some wounds there that probably haven't healed yet. And Jose Mourinho's in there just to kind of, I think, be the man manager. The tactics at Madrid kind of speak for themselves. You give them these players a basic idea. So, however, though, and then you got the Mbappe stuff where he wants to be, be paid as much Mbappe, etc. So I think there's more friction behind the scenes with this than people are really letting on to. And of course, the whole Benfica racist thing he went through with Jose Mourinho. I'm sure they've patched things up over that. I don't want to make it about that in particular, but I just think there's a lot more behind the scenes, some more cracks in the pavement that Madrid have really put forward, right? It was really kind of a disaster with Xabi Alonso, let's be honest. And Arbeloa got him back to playing, the level they need to be at, even though they lost out to the title to Barcelona. However, Tony, if I was to give a percentage on it, I do think we're about the 80% mark that it's done. And I know that sounds a bit crazy because I just think there's still that 20% out there, right? That he could change his mind and, but getting a player like Vini, getting him that 100% image rights, that's another $100 million, $250 million almost in his pocket, right?
So he like doesn't need to give
up that, right?
That's like a different sign-on fee for him.
And the thing is, we'll make it up in shirt sales within probably the first season, right? We'll sell Vini shirts, that'll top, $300, $400 million, right? You talk about Asia, the continent of Asia, then of course you got Singapore, Malaysia, all through there, and you've got, of course, the African nations are people there that follow them. We got millions of Gooners in Africa, right? Those shirt sales automatically almost pay, I would say 3/4 of his sign-up fee. So right now, I think we're in a really good, powerful position, because the fact of the matter is not only winning the league, but in the final, what other time, Tony, besides now, are we be able to go to strike like a viper and get the player we need, right? I mean, now's the time. We can't wait to move on till January, where he'll be open to talking to other clubs. And if he's accepted personal terms, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people reporting that, man.
Oregon, let's not move faster than our shadow. Yeah, I mean, see, there's time to chop these things up, because we'll talk about the agreeing of terms. Because we're still in that phase where Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid are still talking. We'll get into that. We'll take the question of the assembled, before we get into more concrete talks about Vinicius Jr. Look at the assembled. He says something there. He says, Tony, being linked is about as useful as hitting the post. It's not a goal hitting the corner flag. It's not a goal. Look at this comment right here, Oregon Gunner, and and tell me what you see. Tell me what you see. Because if we're in the market right now for Vinicius Jr., yeah, and we have already agreed terms in record time, people. In record time, we've agreed terms with this guy. Yeah, we've already sounded at Real Madrid like, hey, if there's an issue, we're the first persons you should be calling. Yeah. And I mean, you're American, yeah. I mean, I don't mean to cast stones or whatever, yeah. Jay-Z and the Kronkers, yeah, are in the same Illuminati. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, they dine together, they talk together, they do business together. Come on, mate. What are we talking about? Yeah, they'll just sit down, hash out things. And I need not to tell you, Jay-Z's an Arsenal fan, people. Yeah, let's not act as if we don't know that Jay-Z hasn't taken a few trips down to the Emirates. He's trying to engineer the best kind of move for his client. Jay-Z would do what is best. Let me put it this way, yeah? Rock Nation will do what is best for their client. He is their client. Vinicius Jr. is their client. He will do the best thing. He will get in the best move, which is more lucrative forthcoming deals, more lucrative management systems, yeah, and more, as in, they will put him out there. They want a system that would put Vinicius Jr. as the best left wing player ever on stage right now, as it is, and that's what they're doing. When you look at the assembled comment right here, isn't it a bit kind of like disrespectful to what Arsenal is really doing right now when we're taking the time to be involved in this kind of big kind of transfers and being in that shout, being in that conversation, only for us Arsenal fans to come out here and say, hey, it's not a goal. Yeah, so why should it be? It's nothing. It's not a goal. Well, I'm sorry, won't you negotiate deals in the first place? We have Real Madrid, who's literally the biggest club in the world, who's literally negotiating with Vinicius Jr. What are we talking about?
Well, I think that's a pretty good analogy, but you know, when the ball hits off the post, it comes right back, basically. So again, maybe there's more negotiating to do, but to even think that we're in this sort of position, you know, it's good. It's good. And you know, our friend Mark can say what he wants in the chat. If Vinny was linked to Man United, you know, he'd be all about it.
We know he'll be twerking. I mean, like, don't mind Mark. Like, anybody's gonna Mark, I mean, come on, man. Mark, come on, bro. Don't do this. We're far ahead of you guys. I mean, you guys are talking about, you know, Santos and all these other ridiculous kind of players. Yeah, I mean, we're talking big leagues. We're talking the Bruno Guimaraes. We're talking about the Vinis. I mean, come on, bro. Hold your space. Know your place in this, you know, in this system. Yeah, understand your place. Yeah, don't talk when the Oregon Gunner is talking. Yeah, just sit down and listen. Yeah, because this coming season, when after we've arraigned all the players we have, you guys will lose the game mentally before we come in. So before we do that, let's allow Oregon Gunner do his talk. Yeah, so Oregon Gunner continue, mate. I mean, Mark is getting under your skin. Pause.
No, it's not. I just think it's funny because it's like we talked about before. All the rivals are coming out now. You know, all the rivals are coming out. You know, they're all coming out. It's fine. You know, it is what it is. Big up Drew Gunners. But the thing is, it's like if we're gonna make a move, now's the time. Because I don't think it's gonna happen. And you know, if we extend this thing out and Madrid, they could wait. You know, there's a lot of variables that could happen. But for multiple sources saying he likes the terms. So that's 1 foot in the door essentially. And to be honest, Tony, that's all we can kind of expect, really, right? You know, it's like we don't get deals done as quick as Chelsea. We don't get deals done as quick as City. In some cases, probably even Liverpool. But the fact of the matter is that at least we've got a foot in the door, right? So I just still want to hold my breath, but I still think that there's solid links there. And the thing is, too, let's not forget that Vinny was at Madrid since he was 18 years old. He's been there 8 years. He's won everything there is to win there, right? Yeah. So at 26 years old, I think if he really wants to do new challenge with his career, and again be in London. It's not like he's going to be in Liverpool or, you know, God forbid, Manchester. Just kidding, Mark. But you know, at least he'll be in London, like you said, close to his agents and, you know, all his business transactions, because he'll be, you know, flying to New York to do this and that, right? 100% image rights, again, like we said, is going to make up a large chunk of the money that he's been wanting, I'm sure, over the last 4 or 5 years. So I don't know. I'm excited for the links, and I think any of our friends who are, you know, supporters of rival clubs would roll out the red carpet for Vinny Jr. if it was financially possible. There's no way that any club in England turns down the signing of Vinny Jr.
Oregon Gunner, yeah. I mean, when you talk about this thing, yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing you so kind of like giddy or overtly excited like how other Arsenal fans are. I mean, there's that touch of carefulness when you're talking about this transfer.
Right.
What in your mind is really giving you the kind of like, okay, I have to be careful with the way I talk about this Vinicius Jr. Deal right now. I need to be very careful. I'm not going all out saying, oh, we're gonna get him. Right. You know, it's a done deal or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Declan Rice deal where we said, you know what, yeah, we're putting in that money. There's that sure, you know what I mean? There's that conviction that, hey, we're really getting him. It's not the same with this Vinny deal.
No, definitely not.
So what's creeping up in your mind? What's bringing those doubts in your mind and in the minds of people that, let me say, the assemble?
Well, I think Mark's got a good point. If they make some other business transactions, that'll free up, you know, some more dealings. That's going to free up money to keep Vinny. Right? They could do that. Like, and that's a good point. But I don't know how Vinny
that negates the reports that's coming out. They are at an impasse right now. It's a standstill. Real Madrid have told Vinicius Jr. This offer, we are not adding anything. We are Real Madrid. We are not adding anything to this new deal. Take it or leave it. That's what Real Madrid. That's why it's called. If you look at our title today, it just said the contract talks is on standstill. Yeah, two of them are saying this. Two of them are saying that. No one is, you know, corroborating what each other is saying. This one is saying, hey, I'm tired of this. I need this. Give me this. This is what I need. Vinicius Jr. is saying, you know what, I need 80% of my image rights. That's my money. Why are you taking the whole thing? You can, even if, because I really do appreciate you guys keeping me here all these years. Good. Take 20%, and I take 80%. It's my own right that we're fighting for, innit?
Right.
And Madrid is saying, you know what, leave it or take it.
Right. And remember, we beat them 2 seasons ago in the Champions League. You know, so maybe I think if you look from Vinny's perspective, I think the fresh perspective of starting something new, right? And that's right. Mark Bro did make Vinny. He's been there 8 years. Henry was at Arsenal for 9 years. You know, just kind of give that some perspective. It's like at 26 years old, he's obviously in the prime age. And if he wants a new challenge and Arsenal have a deal where he gets 100% of his image rights, what player's not going to go for that, especially of his caliber, you know, top 5 player in the world, virtually I would say pretty damn near a global icon, right? Let's be real in world football. You know, I just think that there could be a real opening for him to kind of, you know, look at his Madrid surroundings and say maybe it's time, right? And I get it, again, being the hub of where business is happening. You know, like I said, Rock Nation is agents' office. They have an office there, obviously, and they do have one in Madrid, I'm sure. But I just think it's like if the money's right, this kid could move. I think the move is there, hopefully. But to keep him back, I think it would be again, Madrid having to update their offer. That'd be contingent on other sales that I'm sure they don't know what's going to happen first, right? I don't think it's as clear cut as Tchouaméni just walking out the door the minute, you know, Rodri steps foot in Madrid. I'm not so sure. maybe they'll look around.
Bro, Tchouaméni has gotten a new deal. Don't mind what Mark is saying, yeah? Mark had spent his whole summer insisting that Tchouaméni is going to come down to Manchester United. And I said, this guy drunk. And right now he's signed a new deal. Tchouaméni is going nowhere. He is going nowhere. And he's not coming to any Man United. So, Mark, please, bro, we don't need that delusion down here, bro. He's going nowhere. They've signed that deal. And again, see, Real Madrid would need to knock someone off right now, to be able to accommodate Vinicius Jr. and also bring Rodri. Mind you, that deal that should be bringing in Rodri to the football club has already been discussed with Manchester City. Mind you, Manchester City have already gone into the market and registered their interest in Boadi. They call him Boadi. I mean, the Moroccan international, innit? It's been doing great things in France. 100 mil for him. I think they've signed him up already. That's done already. Now, that's more like maybe a natural replacement in a way of some sort for Rodri, who is going to be living in the football club. And Elliot Anderson. I mean, so if Rodri is going up down there, they need funds freed up. Rodri is coming at a decent price, about 50, 60 million pounds. But again, they have to also open up avenues to be able to pay him the salary that will bring him to the football club. He's not going to come cheap. He's going to command something like 300, 350K. He's a World Cup winner. He's an European champion. I mean, he has everything under his belt. So he's going to be coming with a big chip out of Real Madrid's pocket. So they would need to free up funds, and they need to free up one other person. So, I mean, I'm not really seeing that. Vinicius Jr. sales makes complete sense for Real Madrid to even the odds, to garnish the tables, to be able to accommodate what they really want to go for this season. They have the king there for them, Kylian Mbappe. They've said it. The untouchables in our team is probably Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, and one other person they talked about. Was it Valverde or something like that? But those three, they are not looking at Vinicius Jr. as someone they want to continue building the team around. That's the news we're getting.
No, and that's part of, like, again, is an 8-year spell there is a long time at any club these days for any of these players, right? But you know, I do think there is, like I said, that element of a new challenge. And why not Arsenal, especially if we're giving them the image rights? That could, it's a whole nother side income, right? It's just the money's ridiculous, first of all. I think we can break our wage structure. But I still think that, you know, you just never know, do you? I mean, it's so much in the balance. You think about, like, how would it, think about, people are saying, well, how would Real Madrid cope with him going at a loss? Well, you could play a 4-4-2 with Mbappe and Yan Diomande up front, right? So there's other tactical ways Jose Mourinho can move these players around. I just want to see it done, Tony. I'm ready for that next caliber type player, right? That's why I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of, you know,
careful. And I understand that. I understand that. But okay, I've heard the careful tone you're using in this transfer. That's a different aspect on if you think with what's going on we can be able to get him. A different aspect is the old financials that will bring him to the football club. Do you think that Arsenal is financially viable right now and financially empowered to do what it takes to get Vinicius Jr. into the football club? I'm talking of his wages. I'm talking of paying Real Madrid. News that just got out today that Arsenal will be looking on dropping over 100 million euros to muddle the waters with Real Madrid on this one, which is about 85 million pounds to muddle the waters first to test Real Madrid's resolve on if that will be enough to get him out. It just came out just a few hours ago. So do you think the financials are there, really, really there for Arsenal to kind of like exploit the signing in a way?
Yeah, you look at what the Crockies have invested in, you know, the Rams quarterback, Rams football, what they've invested in Jokic or the Denver Nuggets, you know, their basketball portfolio they own. So I think that the Crockies are ready to take, looks like that step with Arsenal, especially after Arteta winning the league, right? If we don't win the league, if we didn't do well in the Champions League final, we wouldn't, I don't think, be having this conversation. You know, so you're talking about Premier League money, Champions League final money, and then an Kroenke injection. I think there's some sales that are already planned. Like I think Martinelli knows he's probably going to go, right? I think Trossard deal was done probably even just before the World Cup kicked off. You know, I still think we're getting late information on a lot of this stuff, right? Some of this stuff has to be confirmed before you and I and our friends here on YouTube, you know, get notified of it, right? So I think the wheels are in play for Martinelli to already go, and I think that's what's kind of triggered some of the Vinicius Jr. as well. It's kind of like looking, you know, forecasting and seeing what we can really do. But I think yes, financially, I think we can pull it off. I do. If it causes issues in the dressing room, right, that's another conversation. But I think
that's another conversation.
I think that but anybody, I think, in modern football knows that Vinny Jr. is, you know, getting to icon level status, right? You can look at this guy, like I said, how marketable he is across the world. But if you're Arsenal, you're still looking at this guy like, wow, right? Pay him whatever we want. We have to, you know, come on, Gaffer, right? Get it paid, right? Make it do the deal, Berta, because it's just such a big personality. And again, that's kind of what Arsenal needs. We need to show that we have big personality. We need to show that we are here for hopefully a next run of trophies for the next few seasons, like we've seen Man City do, like we've seen United do, right? We saw Chelsea kind of do that a bit too. So I think it's our time to hopefully, you know, get a player like Vinny in, which will bring in other players down the road. So I think, you know, there's a much bigger picture, you know, involved with this. And I don't know. It's like you think 117 for Morgan Rogers and let's say 175 for Vinny, which I think it's going to take 175.
No, but those players had more time on their contract. Vinicius Jr. just needs to spend more 6 months and then he could move on a free transfer anywhere. Well, I mean, without paying Real Madrid any big time money. That's what I'm talking about after a year. So, I mean, 100 million, for a player on that contract for just 1 year, it makes complete sense, though.
Right. Let's do it.
Let's do it, isn't it? So, Oregon's going to think that financially, Oregon's going to think that financially we can actually hold our own in this particular signing. Okay, good. See, Oregon going to just dream about this. If Vinicius Jr. comes down to the carpet, people, let's just take it like that. Shout out to Drew Gunners, who's down here. He says everyone is hating. Haters. He says everyone is hating, because it's not them. Exactly, like Mark. Jealous, jealousy, just because they are not being linked to the biggest players on the planet, and we are, and his man is just convulsing all over the chart. He's angry, he's pissed, he's bitter. I mean, you can sense the bitterness from his tone, Mark. Probably me and him will be starting our show next week, but I mean, he's so bitter. You can see all his, all his draft in the charts. His red face, he's pissed. Big bad Man United can't go for gigantic personalities and icons like Bruno Guimaraes and Vinicius Jr. Instead, they have to settle down, with Santos and who's that other clown they brought from Aston Villa? What's his name?
Cornetto.
See, Arsenal fans, me and you, we've earned the right to talk to these people the way we like. Finally, we are champions. Finally, we have the power to talk to these clowns. The way they should be addressed, because they are clowns. They've not won a Premier League title in about 14 years. How dare they come around and have discussions with me and you? We are champions, bruv. and to further accelerate and push up on that, we're in the shout for the biggest players on the planet. So it is what it is. It comes with the territory. When you win big, when you're champions, I mean, you just go for the juggler, isn't it? I mean, it's not like, oh, okay, exactly. It's not like we're planning to launch an assault on the Premier League. We have already launched a successful campaign and launched an assault on the Premier League. We're just thinking of accelerating our status right now. So if we're in that shout for the biggest of players on the planet, people, it comes with the territory. It is what it is. So we have earned this right to put these rivals where they belong. Yeah, and part of it is being in the mix of big-time players that are being linked to Arsenal, and there's a real genuine connection that we are seeing in the transfer window that these players also want to come to the Premier League. We'll talk about Bruno Guimaraes. That's our last topic. Yeah. See, imagine Vinicius Jr. or Gunnar in this team. What are the things? Yeah, bro, we've earned the right. Leave all these guys here. Let them get involved in the charts. I don't care.
No, I'm listening to you.
Bro, we've earned the right, bro. We've earned the right to talk like this, to condescend this haters, to look down on them. Well, we've earned that right. So, Oregon Guinea, look at this Vinicius Jr. potential signing,
Oh, shit, Tony.
What are the things? What are the dimensions? What justice can be made with Vinicius Jr. in our team? Where should we play him? Should you even exploit him as a striker, bro? What do you want to see with Vinicius Jr.?
Sorry for my laughing breakdown, bro.
Bro, it's good. I want you to be happy. You've been sad a long time, bro.
God.
This is it.
These are like tears of joy. His stomach hurts. This changes everything. Oh, God.
I like treating the rivals like this. This is how it's supposed to be.
All right. I'm in like stage fright. No.
People excuse our good man. Man is
big up, Scars, buddy. I'm just having a laugh breakdown. It's just like I think Vinny. I would want to see Vinny in a 4-4-2 right next to Guimaraes, but on the left wing, on the left side, left-sided striker. 4-4-2. Put who would you put on the left then? You could put let's see, who do you put on the left? You could put Eze on the left, Declan Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, and then Saka. Right, in a 4-4-2 with our normal back four. Sorry, it took me a minute there. But I'm just thinking like Arteta's not going to change up, though, a style of play that he considers is, championship level football, right? Why would Arteta change up his style a bit? And so if we were to revert to this defensive strategy that we've seen him implement with Martinelli and Trossard, Vinny Jr. is not going to go for that, bro. Right? So I'd want to see a 4-4-2. Let's put up our best goal scorer from last season on the right with Guimaraes and Vinny, and let the two of them just cause fucking havoc, in the 18-yard box for center backs. A fourth, I still think if let's say Arteta did a 4-3-3, I think Vinny Jr. would have to drop back too much. Does that make sense?
Mm. I mean, Oregon Gunner, I know this is your area. I mean, you're more specialized in this technical dimensions, 4-4-2, 4-3, bro. I give that to you. I'm not really into all those technicalities. But the thing there is that when you get a player like Vinicius Jr., automatically it resets the approach to which you're going to go into games with. You finally see that you have someone you can actually trust, who is an icon in that left wing position, You just have to keep attacking them. I mean, it just comes naturally. So if you're a defensive-minded manager, yeah, and for some reason, yeah, because of what you've done last season and the positioning you've brought the club to right now, yeah, it's as a collective with Bertha, the manager, the fans together, yeah, where we are right now, you were able to now bring in Vinicius Jr. onto the play, yeah, and of course Bruno Guimaraes. Don't you forget Bruno Guimaraes coming down to Arsenal. In fact, that's the most important deal in this, in this transfer window, because it glues everything. It makes sure that we finally have someone who could transport the ball, who can hold on to the ball, very tenacious on the ball, very aggressive on that ball. He holds onto the ball. He could transport the ball up onto the final third. Even if he's a good defensive midfielder in a way, he's not that kind of guy that is default setting is to defend. The first thing that comes to Bruno's mind is to hold on to the ball and push forward. He's that kind of guy that wants to go forward.
It's a box-to-box.
Drive forward. And that's what we want to see.
Right.
So we're not going to see an Arsenal team in midfield that just want to possess the ball, pass the ball, tiki-taka around, sideways pass it. No, we're finally going to have a midfield that's going to approach the game from the angle of strength, from a position of strength. And when you have Bruno G, who will tie up that midfield together, glue it all up, yeah, possess the ball, dominate the ball, be very aggressive on the ball, and transport the ball to just maybe a player. And again, Oregon, this is what that Bruno Guimaraes signing does for us, that people are not looking at keenly, yeah? It's not about the defensive prowess of Bruno Guimaraes. We all know that. The thing there is that the choice and the options he gives us in that third positioning for the midfield at the top of the midfield diamond, when him and Declan Rice is going to be playing in a double pivot, yeah, shut down the midfield. That third midfielder, the option it gives us with that third midfielder, it's very important. You can decide and say, you know what, yeah, I don't want AJ doing any of the defensive push at all in this team.
Right.
In that midfield, top of that midfield diamond, allow Bruno Guimaraes and Declan Rice possess the ball, transport the ball forward. AJ doesn't have to come back. That naturally he does that under the Arteta system. He goes back, tries to shore things a little bit, push up with the ball again. He doesn't have to do that. We have a Bruno G who would actually do that. Transport the ball to the final third, open up those pores a little bit. He's constantly looking at breaking out lines and finding those pores. And AJ just have to see just deep, just a little bit outside the 18-yard box. Take snapshots, open up defenses. That's just going to be his job. When you have Vinicius Jr., who's going to be ripping, the left wing apart, bro, I mean, it's open game season. So naturally, Mikel Arteta's default system of defending the whole while is going to be completely useless and broken down, because you finally now have players that don't just want to possess the ball, they want to be aggressive going forward with the ball.
Right, and that's kind of what I was thinking too with the formation of a 4-4-2. Now, essentially, though, what you're saying is having the 4-2-3-1 with Vinny on the left, Eze in the 10, Saka on the right, and Gyökeres or Havertz up front with Declan Rice, and Bruno Guimaraes as the double pivots. I get that, but I'm concerned, like with Gyökeres still to a point of Vinny doing his thing and operating that wide space, but at the same time, I think that Gyökeres needs to be there as well. And I'm just wondering if just having the two of them constantly up front as a threat, because we know Arteta does pull back the striker a bit, right? When Gyökeres is up there, he pulls him back to defend. I'm hoping there's some change to that, right?
Will there be any pullback, though, when you don't need to be pulled back in anyway, though? But because the signing of Bruno G completely does that for you. There's no pullback whatsoever when you're going to possess the ball, be very aggressive on the ball, and you're not looking on passing sideways. You're looking on progressing the ball. Does this make sense to you?
Yes,
that the
yes,
striker doesn't really need to track back in any way. It's constant on the necks of this opposition player.
It's not just always that, though. In a game of football, it's not always that, Tony. Don't get confused that Vinny Jr. comes in, all of a sudden we're going to have this incredible, just, guns blazing attack. I think that's going to take time to develop, right? And that's why I want him in right now, so we can get Vinny some preseason games in, which, that's kind of hit or miss. But I just want to see that more attacking of what you're talking about. But I don't think it's just that cut and dry, bro. I think there's other teams that are going to be, okay, there's Vinny Jr., so we're going to have to figure out a plan for that. And I do think this guy, if he signs, is going to have like a learning curve. It's going to take time for him to really blend into the team, because we know the way he wants to play. But is that going to be conducive to not only what Arteta really wants in the broader scheme of it all, and also, is that going to work with the players around him? We saw Odegaard having trouble getting service to Guimaraes. We saw our midfielders at times having trouble getting service to Guimaraes. If we can get Vinny Jr. to do Vinny Jr. things, I think there's something there, if we even get him, right? That's number one. So if we let him operate in that space, I think there's something there. But I just don't think that it's us going to just be on the attack, because we've seen the U-shaped football for so long now, right? We've seen,
I completely get what you're saying.
And
I completely get what you're saying. So I will ask you this question.
How does
Odegaard this question?
Yeah.
I will counter your statement. I'll ask you this question. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think last season, in our title-winning season in over 22 seasons, do you think Mikel Arteta had the personalities? This is what I want to say. Do you think he had the personalities to play attacking football consistently? For let me say 80% of the game, 90% of the game. Do you really think he has those minerals in the team to achieve that in the league?
I think I wouldn't say 100% minerals, but it's getting there because we just won something.
Yeah, right? I get you, but it's not like we have the personnel to consistently hold an attack for 80% of the game. We don't have that resources. Martinelli, a shadow of himself. The guy that left, Trossard, beats
who shows up every now and then. Yeah.
Can't hold the heat. We have players that can hold the heat in our attack. Consistently 100%, consistently and 90%, which is what you want to see. You want to see high octane attacking football. You have to ask yourself, do you have the personnel to actually hatch that plan? And you've just answered it yourself. We don't have that. None cannot hold the heat for 20 or 10 minutes, not even talk of 90 minutes of the game. So where do you want the sustainability of attacking high octane football to be achieved when you don't have the necessary minerals in the team to actually achieve that kind of style of play? So I would just say, let's just count our blessings. We won the Premier League with this bunch of attack down there. I would say our winning this title, was down to our defense and partly our midfield, and also maybe Victor Gyökeres getting a pinch of that 20-something goals this season. Apart from that, bro, we're lacking in this subtle attacking areas, and that's they can't hold the heat. But suddenly, Vinny comes in, we can hold the heat.
A lot of people criticize the way we won the league, right? Set piece FC, ole. Disregard all that, right? No big deal. If other teams had a good heading technique and strategy, they'd be doing the same things, right? We've covered this many times. The Vinny thing is definitely a different dynamic, right, Tony? It does bring in a very, a world-class signing on that side, which we've missed for a while. Martinelli showed patches of it about 4 years ago, right? Let's be honest, that's been about 4 years now, where he scored, I think, 15 goals. And, Trossard has really been kind of hit or miss, but has scored important goals for us, right? And, of course, his technical ability on the ball. But there was never any speed there with Trossard, right? I think even with TZOLIS signing, he has a bit more pace than Trossard. And if you're replacing Vini with Martinelli, I mean, that'll be night and day, right, at Martinelli's form right now. And I think Martinelli's been at the club for quite a while now, 6-7 years, maybe 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So, he may be looking at greener pastures too, where he can, go to Spain. Atletico Madrid, I think, is a great place for him to go. But, but we have, if we have our foot in the door to sign a player like Vini Jr., we have to go all guns blazing to get it done. And when I know that'll change the dynamic on the left side of the attack. But as for an overall game, sorry, Tony.
Sorry, you get
a little bit under the weather. As for overall,
bro, you're a champion, man. I mean, you're a champion, right. Yeah. Sip the water. I mean, sip it, bro. Yeah, you're a champion, yeah. You don't have to appease this Man United fans. Don't choke, bro. You have to drink something, bro. You're a champion.
No.
Champions take their time, have a drink, and relax. Yeah, we don't need to. I mean, we don't need to. We don't need to convince people like Mark here. Yeah. Anything. Yeah. So, all right, gonna take your time, my brother, man. Take your time.
No, it's good. I'm good. I just think, again, we got our foot in the door. We got to see what happens. That he agreed personal terms is great, but like you were saying, this does spark the attack, right? We didn't have any real engine starters as we get the ball in transition. We relied on Odegaard and Eze, which I think Eze's better at it anyway. But I'm wondering what it's going to be like when Vini Jr. is screaming for the ball and Odegaard's passing it back to Saliba, right? And those sort of things, if Odegaard's even going to be a starter, which I'm sure he will because he's Arteta's fanboy, right? That he's going to have to change up the way he plays, right? It's not just, remember how we had Guimaraes and we thought,
I wanted to also ask you that question too.
And it took, it took the service, right? It took finally understanding that Guimaraes needs service, right? We said this before. If you can't feed him, he can't put the ball in the back of the net. So we finally figured that out halfway through the season. But I'm very curious how that's going to work with Vini Jr., and that Odegaard dynamic who wants to play it safe while Vini Jr. is always on, attack, right? How is that going to work itself out, Tony? Right? So we're two different sort of essentially tactics that I don't think Arteta's really putting out there, but Odegaard's creating, right? Odegaard's creating the back pass. Odegaard is the one who should be playing it forward, so I think that Arteta almost will have, if we sign Vini again, Arteta will have to, really evaluate who's going to be in his starting lineup, first of all. And if Odegaard really can provide the service that we wanted to see with Guimaraes, and it was difficult for him to do it. So I'm wondering how difficult it's going to be for him to get service to Vini Jr.
Yeah. Big up to Benito. So hello, 444. One last dance for Jesus. Let's go. I mean, bro, Jesus is going to have to take the bench on this one, innit? But again, Oregon Gunner, I wanted to ask you this question about Odegaard. Me and you have been very critical of the captain of our football club, not because we hate him, but because we want him to do more. Because we feel that Arsenal have placed the keys in his hand in a platter, on a platter of gold. And he hasn't really grabbed that chance by the scruff of his neck with the showings he's had. Yeah, to be very fair to him, if we want justice, to be very fair, he has been injured. He's been in and out of injuries. We credit Mikel Arteta with that. Yeah, the overuse. Yeah, the throwing of players here and there, and defending at the same time, going forward, getting them tired and worn out. Yeah, we know where that blame is to go to. Yeah, but throw that all away. With what I said about Bruno Guimaraes coming into this football club and the options he gives us, I told you about the option of Eze. That's Eze. Odegaard comes with his own special abilities. So now, Odegaard, if he's thrust into that number 10 position, topping that midfield diamond that if we have Bruno Guimaraes and Declan Rice playing in a double pivot, and then we just, just sprinkle Martin Odegaard just at the top of that midfield diamond, suddenly Odegaard doesn't need to track back that much because we have Bruno G doing that and transporting the ball forward a little bit. So his own is just to, okay, press resistant, okay, no problem, going on that, pushing and all that, pushing the defense into oblivion. I hear that. So, and creating chances also at the same time too. If he doesn't need to play safe, which has always been a bigger problem that me and you have always critiqued him for, instead of going forward, you're trying to look up for the next available sideways pass. Right now, he doesn't need to do that when you have outlets like Vini, who might be coming, and Bruno Guimaraes, who will be down there.
Right.
Who they just wanted the ball. Yeah, are we back? Are we back? Oregon, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So suddenly Odegaard doesn't need to play safe no more. It's either you come in to play or you come in to not play. It's either one of those things now. So it's either it comes on to show on or show off. So then this season we would really see if this Odegaard thing is really a big gamble or just a pack of cards that's just waiting to collapse. What do you think?
I think it could collapse. Hopefully not. I just it could collapse, man. House of Cards. No, you said a lot there, right? A lot to unpack. But I still think that, I think you and I would agree that the best formation would be a 4-2-3-1, right? With Vinicius on the left, Eze in the middle, and Saka on the right, with Guimaraes up front and Rice and Bruno in the back, right? I just, I think that, again, man, like I was saying, it's going to be on Arteta to take the handbrake off, right? Is he going to take, if we go 1-0 up over at Everton, on a cold, blistering Monday night, is he going to take the handbrake off, right? Is Vini Jr. going to be able to do Vini Jr. things when it's hailing, those are questions that got to be asked. And I don't know, man. I just think I agree with Anthony Herbert here. Selling Odegaard, I think, really kind of cleans out the midfielders. And you also think, like, what roles do you see, Tony, like Moreno and Zubamendi playing in with Bruno Guimaraes coming in? Because essentially he's going to be
Anthony Herbert, big up to you. Anthony Herbert, big up to you. Please, Odegaard is going nowhere. I mean, I hate to break it to you like this, yeah. I hate to disappoint you, but this is the fact. Our captain is going nowhere. I mean, look at the transfer window, yeah. Nobody, no one, no journalist, no journal, even a paid journalist. Arsenal have lots of paid journalists, yeah, people. Right. No even paid journalist is talking about the Usta of Martin Odegaard. Mostly after the kind of World Cup he had. He had a successful World Cup, people. The passes, the tracking back, the going forward. I mean, he wasn't even looking on passing the ball sideways, attacking mode. People, Anthony Herbert, he's not going anywhere. Nobody's talking about him going anywhere. So all these expectations about, there will be a cleanup. No, the cleanup as at now that we know of is Nodgaard leaving to Everton. That's the number one cleanup that we will achieve mostly in this next coming few days in our midfield. Nodgaard has agreed a deal with Everton, and Everton has booked the medical for Nodgaard to leave Arsenal for £7 million, which makes complete sense right now in hindsight, because I mean he came into this football club with a fee of about £10 million, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, so
Probably about right.
take the chunk off, 7 million,
Yeah,
3
sure.
million. You know, of course. Yeah, okay.
He
We
got
got him
less
for
than
3
90
million to
Premier
come
League
to
minutes, but why not?
He didn't have to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he goes. That's the clock that it's going. Odegaard is going nowhere. Let's not be drunk about this.
No tequila for you, Anthony. So Norgard.
I mean, all right, we will be drunk if we're talking, and if you're saying that Odegaard is leaving, we'll be drunk then. This is the truth.
Yeah, no, I think
Because
Drew's right.
nobody's talking about him leaving.
I mean, he is
Apart
captain
from
of the face of the club.
apart from maybe you, or maybe me, because I think we should get better. But I mean, it's not in the news. Don't you find that fascinating? No, it's true. But don't you find that fascinating? That he's not in the news. No one has mentioned his name.
No, he's not in the news, and Moreno's not in the news. And with Norgard going, it's kind of like
Zubimendi's not in the news.
Changes the pecking order, right? Yeah, Zubimendi's not in the news. So I think that having decent backups is good. I think Moreno could do the job on the day. I think Zubimendi can be decent in some games, right? He's just not really physical enough. But there's no denying he can pass a ball. He has an eye for goal, right? I'm not going to slam Zubimendi, who's just won us a Premier League, participated in the greatest sporting event in the last 22 years. But it's like, who goes down into Norgard's pecking order, right? If he's at the bottom, it's not like you bring Guimaraes and he starts at the bottom, right? Guimaraes is up there with Rice, essentially, as the two pivot guys. And then it goes, Zubimendi, right? Or is Guimaraes coming in to cover Declan Rice because Declan Rice can't run 90 minutes anymore?
No, I don't think so. Declan Rice
I know. I think he's going to put those two together. That's going to be.
It's going to be a double pivot, and two of them interchanging quite well. Sometimes Declan Rice might just run through that number 8. I want him to sit in that number 6. I think is a solid 6. Yeah. Of course, he has to. It's in his wheelhouse to moving into that number 8 position. But I think Bruno G does that well and more better than him.
Absolutely. No, I think you're right. But I think even if we do a 4-3-3, you can even put Lewis Skelly on the left, Rice on the 6, and Guimaraes on the right. Right. I mean, Lewis. It's kind of like you look at Lewis Skelly too. Like, where does that put him in the pecking order? Because again, we're talking Guimaraes that can play that position, obviously. Moreno that can play that position. Zubimendi that can play that position. Miles Lewis Skelly. So you're talking
Miles Lewis Skelly, yeah, exactly.
4th place. Does that put Skelly down to the Norgard level, right? Where he's not going to get much time. I mean, these are good problems to have because we need the depth because we know we get injuries, right? It's
Miles Lewis Skelly played as a defensive midfielder yesterday,
right? Exactly.
In that match against Girona, and what a marvelous display from him.
Yeah, he's very good. So. Arteta really has, I think, a selection issue on his hand, right? I don't, I just don't see room for Lewis Skelly right now, except for coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Right. And Zubimendi comes off the bench. Moreno, he comes off the bench. Odegaard, for me, he comes off the bench. I guess, Tony, those are good problems to have because, again, it's decent players. It's not like we're filling, like Fabio Vieira is going to go, right? We're not filling it with El Neni, even though he was all right when he, right? We're actually like Moreno's, like you've said before, you've defended our man, Mikel Moreno, call him, European Cup winner, now World Cup winner, Premier League winner, Champions League finalist.
Copa del Rey winner.
Right. So there you go. I'm just really curious. If I'm going to be very disappointed, well, number one, if we don't get Vinny, let's say we do, and Arteta does take the handbrake off, right, at Stadium of Light. Arteta does take the handbrake off when we're 2-0 up against Crystal Palace, 1-0 up, Crystal Palace. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I just
those cold wintry nights in those places.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Vinny hopefully realizes that it's going to be a lot different than Madrid. Right? It's going to be a lot different. But if we can get this guy into, like I said, it sounds like we got a very solid foot in the door. If the financials are there and he wants to be, you know, in one of the biggest, beautiful cities in the world, you know, not that Madrid, I'm sure, is beautiful, never been there, but, you know, it's like the Premier League needs another big star. I think the only big star in the Prem right now, to be honest, is Haaland, right? That real marquee player. The only real one is Haaland, right? So if we were to be able to match sort of that, right, with Vini Jr. signing, I think would be incredible, right? You can't, and you could maybe say Declan Rice on our team, you know, is that kind of real like marquee player, but not really. He's still, you know, like, I don't know. I think Declan Rice is getting to be world class, but Haaland is kind of like, you know, he's again a global face of football. And Vinicius Jr. is too. So I think we need that kind of caliber. And Reece Nelson, right, Anthony, he's still here. So maybe there's a lot of
Vinny's world class. I mean, see, we've been bantered. I mean, Oregon Gunnar, we've been bantered. We've been laughed at. We've been mocked for not having world class players in our team. And at each turn, when we tried to push Bukayo Saka into that world class conversation, you know, these rivals, I mean, they all laugh at us. They mock us. They close their mouth and sniff their nose when we talk about this kind of players in that bracket of world class. Right now, no one will be laughing. None of them would be laughing when we are talking about Vinicius Jr. coming into the fray. So, I mean, as that face of football that would come and galvanize things for us in our football club. They won't be laughing. He's a world-class player, and he will make other players that play around him even more better, and even allow them to start touching that echelon of world-class players too. Because Saka is not far off from that evaluation of a world-class player. Declan Rice is nearing that position after his World Cup showing. We have players who have just come back from the World Cup, you know, with a bronze medal from the World Cup. This is the world stage. You know, they get into that position. Vini just accelerates that, you know, that reaction, that chemical reaction. But you see, Oregon Gunnar, the elephant in the room, Bruno Guimaraes, set for Arsenal medicals on Monday. Oregon Gunnar, Bruno Guimaraes could be an Arsenal player on Monday. My brother, do justice to this. Justice for Bruno Guimaraes.
Justice for Bruno Guimaraes. Big up Carl Rossi evening. No, the justice is this.
Big up Carl Rossi. Carl Rossi.
Man City spent 116 on Elliot Anderson.
I'm sorry. I want to take a pop at Carl Rossi. Just a little bit. Carl Rossi, can you see what we're being linked with? Carl Rossi, you said we're not going to be in the shout, of the biggest players in the world. Well, Carl Rossi, I hate to break it down to you because you're one of those guys that I really like, You're my brother, You supported me on my journey on this channel, But, I mean, I have to break it down for you. Arsenal is linked to bringing in a world-class player into the fray, to the carpet. Vinicius Jr. will bout, I mean, what I've just opened up with Oregon Gunnar, Bruno Guimaraes, set for Arsenal medicals on Monday. Bro, Carl Rossi, you should be in dreamland. You just won the league last season. You're bringing in world-class players. What else do you have to lose? I'm sorry, I'm channeling my inner Trump.
You should be in dreamland, Carl.
You have to lose.
Carl's in dreamland.
You just won the league last season. And this season, you're in the shout to bring in a Vinicius Jr., presumably the biggest icon out there, into the Premier League with big bucks, And you also booked a medical for Bruno Guimaraes, who's one of the best in the Premier League, if not, I mean, top 10, top 11 in the world, in the position he plays at. Bro, what else do you have to lose? Write it down on the chart. Oregon
what else you got to lose?
Booked medical for Bruno Guimaraes. How about that?
I love it. I think it's a little more than I think I would have wanted to pay, but again, it's not my money. And to think that City's paid 116 mil for Elliot Anderson, and we get the finished article with Bruno Guimaraes, right? Think about how much United spent on Tielemans and Santos. We get Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah.
You know, and Caicedo, come on now. Don't insult me. Bruno Guimaraes, right? I think him and Declan Rice together will be an absolutely fantastic midfield. Seriously. So just like better than anyone else is in the league that I can think of right now. Liverpool, McAllister, yay. Gravenberch, yay. Gravenberch is decent. You know, Chelsea's midfield, You know, what did you think about us losing out on Morgan Rogers, Tony? But hold on, before you think about, all you need to do is add another 60 mil to the bin and you get Vinicius Jr.
Exactly, man.
Right?
Exactly,
Chelsea's
man.
paying 117.
That's the mathematics. That's the arithmetic. Yeah. Just channel some couple of million pounds and this Vinicius Jr. deal signed, sealed, and delivered. Who needs Morgan? Who needs Morgan, bro? When you can bring the best left wing player
in the world right now.
In the world. I mean, come on, man. Let's not. I mean, come on, man. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Yeah, people. Justice. Let's not do that. You know. If you in the market, in the shout to bring in a Vinny into your team, people, let's don't diminish it because it's Arsenal. And again, this rivals, just when Arsenal is going for these big time players, that's why I'm not hearing this conversation that Angel Di Maria, you know, is a bigger icon than Vinicius Jr. That Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a bigger icon. Bro, I'm hearing all this, and it's all concocted by Man United and Chelsea fans. They're the ones doing and saying all this nonsense.
Right.
So, I mean, you can't win. As an Arsenal fan, you can't win this lot. I mean, come on, man.
But it's ways. But I mean, it's like this market is so inflated, bro. It's like you look at Morgan Rogers, and let's say you basically got Guimaraes over the line, and this is why I think that we do have some sales pending for some of these players, like Martinelli, Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira, you know, and plus, and who else could be on that list? And Jesus, 20 mil to AC Milan, I think I read yesterday. So you're talking again, you know, Jesus and maybe Martinelli goes for 40 million. That's, you know, we all have our
opinions on
he's worth 50 million maybe.
Jesus is going nowhere. Let's be frank. Jesus
no, he's gone. He's gone, bro. I think he's going to go to AC Milan for 20 million.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, I don't think AC Milan would want to put forward the astronomical amount he's earning at Arsenal. That's where the problem would brew. They don't want to pay that kind of astronomical amount. Arsenal is paying that guy. They're never gonna take him with that. Well, even if Arsenal subsidizes that signing for them, they won't take it. It's too rich. That money being paid to Jesus, it's too rich. No club will want to be a part of it. And that's what I've been scared. This club from coming for him.
But Gabriel Jesus, though, I think would actually, if he's told by Arteta and Berta that you're done, you're not getting a paycheck, and all he has to do is lower his demands at, what is he, 28, 29 years old? 29? You know, to go to AC Milan and have if he stays fit, have an impact there. I think he's, you know, willing to drop his wages a bit.
That before?
When you tell a player, bro, that they're just not flat out going to play, they're going to go and they're going to find the best club for the best deal that they can get, right? And that's why I think, you know, we worry about these players dropping wages. Yeah, you know that.
But Jesus is okay hanging around the bench. I mean, from a player point of view.
No,
he is. No. He's saying it's okay hanging out from the bench. I mean, come on, man. We've seen it all before.
I don't want to see Jesus. I don't want to see Jesus in the red white anymore. It's over with, bro. He's been here 6 years. You know, again, he's been at Arsenal 6 years, and fucking Vinny's been at Madrid 8 years. He's 2 more years longer than we've had Jesus. So put, you know, time. Time dulls the mind, bro. I'm telling you. If you think too much into this shit, you'll drive yourself crazy, Tony. But I mean, 20 mil for Jesus. If we can make that happen, do it. Do it. And then, but I do think with the Vinicius Jr. signing, of course, Guimaraes coming over, I think that really puts a damper on the Alvarez signing, to be honest.
Yes.
I think the Julian Alvarez signing is very complex. Probably not as complex as the Vini one, but I still think the Vini one, like you said earlier, with Madrid's deal already out on the table, it's kind of cut and dry at this point. But the Alvarez one has so much seems so much noise around it that I just, where's he going to play? And again, this is where you start tiering the players, right? Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, 4, etc. Like with Guimaraes coming, that's going to put Miles Skelly down, right? If Alvarez comes in, right, for Jesus is our third string striker. So does Alvarez go above Guimaraes and Havertz? Right, I just don't see how we blend some of these names.
I mean, don't you think we need them for depth in the FA Cups, in the Carabao Cups? Don't you think we still need those kind of players for depth?
No,
so that we don't
don't
overuse our main 11 in
Drew.
skirmishes in the Carling Cup and in the Carabao Cup. I'm sorry,
right.
and in the early stages
but Tony,
of the FA Cup.
But Drew perfectly summarized my point. We don't need players stealing a living from the bench, right? And I'm sorry, you bring Julian Alvarez in. Again, it's like it's great, right? But where does that leave Eze then? Where does that, Guimaraes is there one season top scorer in the club, and now all of a sudden he's sitting on the pine waiting to come in the 75th minute because Julian Alvarez took his spot. Like, I just don't see, especially if the Vini thing falls through, I think we go all in for Alvarez. If the Vini thing works out, and I pray to the football gods it does, because he's obviously a better player than Julian Alvarez, and we need that strength on the left wing, I would forego the Alvarez signing.
Aussie Ange, big up to you. Ange. Says, big up my two sons. Hope both of you are okay. Big up to you, Aussie.
Doing well. Ready for the Vini just waiting for Vinny's caravan to end up in North London. I just, I think at this point it's really, it's really, if, like I said, if the Vinny thing falls through, perhaps we go all in for Alvarez. And I think Rossi's got a good point. I don't see what Alvarez fits in the team, right? I think Guimaraes, you don't sign a striker, bro. He's your number one goal scorer. You put him on the bench the next season, like as this impact player. Right, I don't think there needs to be that much revolving around it, but I do believe that we need depth because of our injuries. But a lot of the reasons we did have depth because Arteta was loaning out players that we could have used, i.e. Ethan Nwaneri, right? We loan him out, and what is it? A week later, we get an injury crisis again. So I'm good for the depth, but some of these players, and it was like Drew saying, I just don't want these names, these great names on the back of the shirt, get a lot of money waiting for their chance to get in because Arteta now has essentially a FIFA team, right? Let's be honest, to pick from, right? And how he manages all that. And Dowman needs to do, Dowman needs to play above Mad,
we'll
before
get to
Mad
Dowman.
Wesley.
In fact, that's the next topic. We'll get to Dowman. But just before then, Oregon Gunnar, I've not sampled this with you, Vinicius Jr. comes in. Bruno Guimaraes comes in.
The
I
cherry
classify
on top.
Vinny as a world-class player.
Absolutely.
He comes with his own attitude. It comes with his own hot-headedness. It comes in with his extra drama. People still think he's a drama queen with all his antics. I don't want to call it antics, because it's entwined into certain touchy, sensitive, global topics. I mean, since I was born, those are the topics that's really been talked about: racism, discrimination, and all this whatnot. Are you scared that kind of drama? Because Arsenal have not, as a football institution, with more recent years that we've been playing. And I mean, even in Arsene Wenger times, that racism and discrimination hasn't really been a thing at the fulcrum of watching Arsenal Football Club in any way.
Right.
Do you think Vinicius Jr. comes into this football club, gets into tense disagreements with people because he seems to draw this kind of criticisms in higher places, in sensitive topics? Do you think this thing, just hatches way, follows him to Arsenal Football Club, disrupt things in a way that would reverberate around the football club and in the Premier League? Because he's had reverberating, shaky, serious, big topics in Spain that are shaking the world on its own, the world of football on its own, with the topics emanating from him just existing in Spain. Do you think he comes into this football club, those dramas follows him down here, and it's a hot head in a way, and then that drama ensues with Mikel Arteta, and then we have an all-out war because it's a big personality.
I'm here for that.
After nearly 500,000 pounds in a week, bigger than the boss himself, bigger wages than the manager himself, bigger management fees, bigger. I mean, anything. It ends bigger, even than the manager. Right. He might even be bigger than the football club per se.
I know, but Tony, we've seen this before.
Given to players are almost like bigger than the football club. Do you think
this has happened in football forever? Yeah, of course. This has been happening forever. Look at David Beckham. Look at Ronaldo. Right, the global superstars on the, global icons essentially. Right, because that's the label they're given. It's like things are going to get shooken up. This is why we were talking earlier about the teams, the squad having to really kind of adjust their thinking. Right, Vinny Jr. is a big icon in world football. I'm not going to say massive, right, but a huge icon in world football. It's a statement signing, right? But I think that the players recognize that. 8 years he was at Madrid. That comes with a lot. Essentially they made him the superstar he is. But I do think there's that thought process out there, hopefully in his head, that I can change my environment, make an impact on a team that's essentially up and coming.
Can Mikel Arteta manage him? This is where I'm at right now. Can Mikel Arteta say, "Hey, Vinny, sit on the bench in this matchup," without you thinking that there's going to be a skirmish down there in the dressing room? Can he manage this player?
I think so, because you're getting him at an age at 26 is pretty mature, right? It's not like he's a 19-year-old kid, right? But I think the money, the Arteta managing him, and the money has to equal the performance, right? At the end of the day, he has to perform, So I think as long as Vinny is doing somewhat of what the tactics are, but Arteta has to realize not only managing the personal side, he has to manage the footballing side, right? He has to make sure that he's not playing Vinny the way he used to play Martinelli, right, and so forth. So it's going to be a more, I think, hopefully a give and take relationship, right? Okay, Vinny, you're not going to go play, fucking Preston North End in a league, in an FA Cup or something, right? I get that, but you better not be sitting them out against Liverpool at home. You better not be sitting them out in, an important Champions League group game for sure. Big up, Steve-O.
Yeah. Big up, Strasbourg, Steve.
I really think that once we've got the relief of us picking up our trophy last season, that kind of maybe changes the outlook. I still have that fear, like we talked about earlier, about Odegaard out there doing Odegaard things, and that's where the real rift would come from. Vinny, like, what are you doing? The time it's going to take for him to adapt and phase in. I just don't think it's going to be Vinny scoring goals right off the bat. You know, we expected that from Guimaraes. And there was times we were slaying him, right? But I don't know, man. I'm anxious to see where it goes. I'm anxious to see where it goes. But I'm just glad that we've actually made some sort of headway into at least having a serious conversation with this level of player.
Yeah. Those of you in the chat, you've heard what Oregon Gunnar said about Mikel Arteta and Vini and if this drama is going to ensue, you know, with this drama that keeps on following Vinicius Jr. wherever he goes, since he set his foot at Madrid, he has always been in that conversation, controversial conversation. You've heard what Oregon Gunnar said. Please put there in the chat what you think. Can Mikel Arteta manage? People, I'm not saying that Vinicius Jr. has been known for very, very, you know, for very kind of like violent stuff. No, I'm not saying that. But you can't deny the drama and the controversy that have always followed him throughout his career. So do you think Mikel Arteta is that kind of a coach that will put his arm around the player and say, you know what, I throw my ego, I put my ego to the other side. I'm offering my hand, I'm extending my hand to you as a manager. You earn more than me, but I'm extending my hand to you, my bro. Calm down, relax. Let's go this way. Let's go that way. That's how a modern day manager who wants to get the best out of players is going to do. But guys, do you think Arteta is that kind of guy that would put his arm around a player?
We've seen him. Well, he puts his arm around Saka all the time.
Saka is a different thing. He has an Arsenal DNA. He has the Arsenal DNA. It's quite different from a player who's already a world-class player before he steps his foot at Arsenal. He's going to be earning more than the manager does before he steps his foot.
I got to be honest. I got to be honest with you guys. The
odds are stacked against the manager.
I don't fear of Vinicius Jr. and Arteta bust up. And number one is because we've now won something of real significance, right? The pressure of like winning something is, I mean, it's still there. Don't get me wrong, but it's slightly a bit off with Arteta because now we are talking.
If Vinny says, I don't want to track back, Oregon Gunnar. If he says, hey, Arteta, I'm sorry. I know you like defensive stuff, but I'm sorry, man. I'm an icon. I'm a big time player. I'm sorry. My style of game. No, again, let's be frank.
I'm an icon. I tell Arteta.
You know I shoot straight, Oregon Gunnar. You know I shoot straight.
Come on now, but
that's like says, you know what, Arteta. I'm not gonna do this.
Again,
I'm not buying
remember the Ornstein tweet. Agreed at all levels. Agreed at all levels. Also agree at all levels that they wanted to make.
Agree at Oregon Gunnar. Agreeing at
play
all
for
levels.
Vini Jr. So Arteta.
Oregon Gunnar. Agreeing at all levels doesn't mean that it's the manager's style of play is going to change for the player.
No.
It only means that he's agreeing for the player to make that move. He's not agreeing that the player is going to come and change his style of play.
He may be forced to. How are you going to? What style of play is that? When you bring Vini Jr. and you have to adjust your style of play.
It's what you've been talking about. It's the defensive.
I know. I'm questioning it. I'm questioning it. I'm not saying you're going to do this or that.
And then he says, Vini, you have to drop back a little bit. I'm sorry. Do it for the team.
You think Vini's response is going to be no?
And Vini says, you know what? Yeah, I'm a world-class player. I earn big time money. I'm richer than you. Please. I don't want that. You know, I'm an icon. I'm a world-class player.
No,
these conversations will happen, whether we like it or not. And he might say, hey, I don't want to track back. What do we do at that point?
You sack him. I don't know, Tony. I think that's such a reach in generalization. Like Vinny's going to come in with this, like sort of prissy diva-like attitude, right? I just don't.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he come in? Why wouldn't he come in with that kind of attitude, though? I mean, he's won the Champions League multiple times.
Well, but he hasn't won it in 2 seasons.
Spanish La Liga, the Copa del Rey. It's been a Brazilian international almost all his senior playing career years. I mean, he's earned that right to have that chip on his shoulder when making a move to a team that he classifies probably as a team not near to Real Madrid in terms of the enormousness, in terms of the monstrosity of the football club and the hierarchy that club has achieved over the years. He's going to be looking at Arsenal as a second-class club to Real Madrid. This is the fact. This is true.
Tony, probably so. But again, it goes back to what we talked about him, having this epiphany of he wants to change, he wants to go live in London, and he sees Arsenal, buys into the project like any other player would, demands a high wage like any real world class attacker would with this market rate. I think he comes there graciously. I don't think he's going to come again. I don't think he's going to come in there with some attitude of like, oh, I'm Vinny Jr., Billy Big Bollocks, and I'm going to come in and shove my way. No, this is like a defined thing. And again, we go back to the Crockies buying paying a lot of money for LA Rams quarterbacks. Big up BBK.
Big up BBK Sports. BBK, hit the jack, my brother. Hit the jack. Let me know when we can have our show, bro. Let me know. Hit my jack, bro.
By playing, sorry, I had to look at the text there.
Yeah, it's okay.
By Crocky's buying big name players to enhance the Nuggets, to enhance, the Rams and so forth. And so, yeah, I do see him like finally finding that statement player for their football portfolio, meaning Arsenal, to really put that global stamp on there. Again, the money globally from just shirt sales alone and all the other stuff, even if Mark's saying it's 18%, fair enough. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar global market for someone like Vinny Jr., right? And especially behind the World Cup hype, even though he scored 4 goals and Mbappe and Haaland scored more, I think Messi too. But still, other than that, that's just more focus on him, and I'm like, if he can perform, I'm not worried about the attitudes between him and Arteta. I'm not worried about the money. I just want to win trophies. I think Vinny Jr., if we had the possibility at all to get him, you're seeing a player that could potentially score multiple hat tricks in a game, right, against some of the, bottom half sides of the table possibly. But it's going to be interesting, especially like we talked about earlier, a cold Monday night at Everton, it Leeds, let's see if he can really do this, right? And it's going to take time. Again, I don't think he's going to come in and be a world beater like we thought Guimaraes might be, but he still surprised us with 20-plus goals.
Yeah, exactly. Arguing the final topic. Arsenal brush aside Girona yesterday, yeah? Or whipping or walloping yesterday, yeah? And of course, the damage and the carving openings, yeah, were done by no other person than Arsenal's new signing, TZOLIS, yeah, and Max Dauman. People, yeah, Oregon Gunner, for the last 1 hour, 28 minutes that we've been talking, yeah, the name of Max Dauman has only come out your mouth once, bro, yeah? When you look at his performance yesterday, his name ought to come out your mouth like 10 times in this show in about 1 hour, 30 minutes. Absolute brutalizing of this place, bro. Completely brushed aside that Girona midfield, showed them class, dribbled. What? Oh, my people.
I know. He's class, bro. That's what I changed my channel avatar.
From Max Dauman. What a pass to set up Kai Havertz for the opening goal against Girona, bro. This guy is operating. He's operating in a different zone. Right. This man is a man on space, bro. Forget about Elon Musk. This guy is space himself, bro. See, what do we do with Max Dauman? He's becoming a problem. Oregon Gunner, yeah. I mean, in the crime families, in the Italian crime families, yeah. In the United States of America, when they sense a problem, yeah, they call a family meeting, yeah. I mean, a few Italian gangsters just having a meeting to just address the problem. Right. This is the time we have to address the elephant in the room. with that kind of performance, bro, completely brushing aside, yeah. I mean, bro, leaving this man then, yeah, for dead on the floor, Max Doman, he's a problem. We have to talk about it.
Okay.
What do we do to Max Doman?
We put Max Doman in the 10.
You heard it here.
And we don't have Vinny Jr. We don't have Vinny Jr. So you place TZOLIS on the left, Max Doman in the 10, Saka on the right, Bruno on the left, Rice in the 6, and Eze in the 10. 4-3-3.
Does Arteta trust that though? Does he trust that though?
No.
And that would be the bigger problem, because sometimes you just have to, of course, I'm not saying I don't want to be part of this Arsenal fan base here that's saying protect him. I mean, he needs so much protection. You want to protect him last season? You want to protect him this season? He's so young. Bro, he's no more young again when he's doing man them things, bro. He's doing what a man should be doing at this age, bro. Putting these players on their bums. We can't deny this again. It is becoming a big problem that we can't push aside. We have to talk about it. How many games do you want to give to Max Doman this season? Where do you want to see him play? How many games? What impact do you want to see him make? Because when I watched that game yesterday, bro, it's like I was watching a young 17, 18-year-old, Messi conjure his magic in Spain, bro. This guy is like the wind. Taking on players, he's fearless. Bro, he's constantly thinking of taking the ball further. Bro, no fear, nothing. It's just, he shows up. He doesn't hide behind the curtains like Martin Odegaard. He wants to be in the conversation, and he wants to force it open, tear the defense down. I mean, people, look at that pass he gave to Kai Havertz. Even Kai Havertz, as shitty a striker as Kai Havertz is, he can't lose that ball, bro. It's easy, bro. Play.
No, I think with Max Doman, like Carl said, it's about managing his minutes properly. But there's no reason why he shouldn't start every FA Cup and League Cup game, and even teams that are in the bottom 5. Right.
So you think he's not ready for the first 11? This is my problem.
I think, but that's managing minutes, right? It's not a question if he's not ready for the first 11. I think he is, but like, it's about managing his minutes. You want to put him in an element, an environment that he is successful, right? If Max Doman goes against Liverpool and doesn't do Max Doman things, right, then it's like, the hype becomes, he can't perform in big games, blah, blah, blah. He still needs time to establish himself, I think, just a bit more. But I do think he's ready, but I think it's more about managing the minutes, because again, there's no reason why he shouldn't start in every FA Cup game, even if it gets down to the semifinal and even the final. I think it provides some really solid relief in the attacking midfield position, because we got Eze and Max Doman. Because I still think Odegaard, as much as we slate him, still fits in Arteta's mind, right? So if you still regard Odegaard as a starting midfielder, which is ridiculous at this point, that Max Doman provides a really good option. In fact, I think a lot of the squad right now is we're seeing options, a lot of more rotation, hopefully.
Exactly.
Again, Norgard only got less than 90 minutes last season. But Max Doman overall, I think he's ready, but I think it just needs to be the right game, right? Make sure that he's 100% fit, ready to go. Yeah, I just don't see Arteta throwing him in against, the big 5 necessarily right off the bat. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be a big point to prove against City, right? Maybe he scores away at the Etihad or something. I mean, it'd be a phenomenal story.
You never know. Fair enough. Protecting, this is that. I mean, it has been running. Yeah. I mean, when does that narrative get old? I mean, if Messi can take the reins of power at the age of 17 and just broke into that Barcelona team and kept on shining. I mean, we've seen players like Pedri, Kubrasi. Kubrasi just won the best young player in the World Cup. Bro, what are we talking about, bro? I mean, what are we thinking? We have all these young players displaying for Spain, playing in Spain, both for club side and for country, and we're thinking penny pinching this youth we have in bro. What has all this penny pinching and bro, protecting? That's the word done for us over the years. Wilshere, we protected, man, completely banged up, shipped out. Who was that again? Oxlade-Chamberlain, protect. Okay, we saw how that went. The only one that we protected in a way and got something out of it was Theo Walcott. And he didn't even attain the highest of levels though, at Arsenal. I mean, when we're talking about this protecting, okay, but in Spain, Kubrasi, Pedri, all these other young players are out there doing great things at that young age. Lamine Yamal, I mean, all these players. I'm not trying to compare them, but I'm trying to say, hey, these guys, I mean, they did their thing, at such a young age, because they had managers who believed in them and decided to throw them into the, into that dark place, and they shone. So it is what it is. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's a dicey area, but I mean, it is. I think it's time to have conversations about what to do with Max Dolan after that showing.
I think giving him minutes of confidence is a big one. I think confidence is a big one, right? And that's what I mean. I want to put him in against games where he can really excel. If that's playing against, Coventry City coming up, or if that's, playing away at a lower level team, let's say Crystal Palace or even Newcastle, who could be on the brink of relegation, to be honest. I just want to see that confidence build, because then going into the bigger games, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United, that he'll have more of that foundation already and confidence that he's okay. I'm scoring 4 or 5 goals against some of the minnows now, right? No disrespect to the lower clubs, but if he's got a goal tally of 5 goals in the first 6 or 7 or 8 games, that's going to give him confidence to go to Etihad, to go to Anfield and Old Trafford, and hopefully get that starting spot or be brought on early the second half to have a real impact. What I don't want to see him brought on is like in the 80th minute for him to go out there and have to fix things at 17 years old, right? That's the other part I want to avoid. I don't want him to feel like, oh, you're our last resort, so here you go. I don't think that's really fair in development, right? So that's why you go give the guy 85 minutes against Palace, Coventry, Hull, right? That's why you start him off in those games, build that confidence, get the goals, get the fitness going, hopefully get that goal tally up there, and let him cook some of these minnows, right? I just don't
let him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, sorry, Steve-O, but I can see relegation.
Bro, another person who cooked yesterday. Another person who cooked yesterday was brand new signing TZOLIS yesterday after the showing against McDonald's, in a closed door game, he gave an assist. People said it's a lie. It's a closed door thing. He's nothing. He's this. Good man shows up against Girona, brushed them aside. My days! They've turned his goal into some champagne Iceman stuff all over Twitter, bro. What a goal from TZOLIS, bro! Signature kind of goal, signature kind of movement, signature kind of drifting towards that left-hand side. He can cut in. I mean, the thing with Trossard was that he was, is an inside left winger. But with TZOLIS, we have someone who could actually play within the fringes, of the left wing, and can also cut in. But when he cuts in, he's deadly, bro. He's so deadly because he has his eyes on goal. It's quite different with Trossard, who needs to take a few more touches here and there, before the whole movement, and in a monumental way. TZOLIS is a bit of I mean, he's there. He's scruffy.
He wants to score. Yeah, bro. This is a nice goal.
Bro, man doesn't want to dress it. Man doesn't want to do monuments, paint art, or do pictures. Yeah,
Right.
like JC or whatever. Man just wants to. He's like Tupac. He just wants to score goals. He wants to just brush the ball away into the net.
Right.
And what goal he scored? You said you watched the highlight yesterday. You saw that goal, signature goal from him. He scored similar goals like that in the UEFA Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
In Club Brugge, he scored thousands of those goals. Yeah, massive.
I think it's a decent signing. Yeah. I think.
So, what do you think about TZOLIS now that he's got? I mean, he's opened his account with Arsenal. He's looking good, and we're looking on bringing Vini to that position. So, what does that do for him, and how do you see TZOLIS as a player, though?
I think TZOLIS knows that he is second string, right? Which is fine. I mean, again, you're going to have these types of signings that have, pretty good run or pedigree, you could say, and some of these, European clubs like Bruges that aren't always, obviously looked at as some powerhouse in football, but there's some gems there, and I think there's something there to work with, right? I agree what you're saying about Trossard. There's a few extra touches, looks maybe more sometimes to get a little cross in than actually just taking the shot on, but when he does, he scores, so, and I don't think that him and Arteta had the best relationship. Remember a season before last, we thought there was a little bit tension there because Trossard wasn't getting the minutes, right? So we did have that conversation on your show, I believe, as well, Tony, at the time. So I think that the TZOLIS guy is kind of refreshing, someone new, and he's got his first goal already, and maybe there's something there. I don't think Girona are that good of a team, so I definitely want to see him, what he can do against the Big Five, right? I want to see him in high-pressure situations, showing what he can do, because a lot of people said that at 40 mil, that's kind of a bargain, Yeah.
I mean, I hear it. I hear people were coming to the end of the show. Me and Oregon gonna 1 hour 42 minutes of doing justice to Arsenal topics. People, me and Oregon, we covered the ground. We've covered Bruno Guimaraes. We've covered Vinicius Jr. We've talked about Max Dolman. He's just talked about TZOLIS, people. It doesn't get better than this, people. It is what it is. Drew Gunners gave us, people. Big up to Drew Gunners, people. Yeah. Big up to Drew Gunners. Yeah. Drew Gunners gifts us, another 10 jewels, people. Big ups to my brother, my person, Drew Gunners. He gives us a drill. And of course, Drew Gunners says, I genuinely think Max could do it against the top 5. Maybe we'll get to see that this season. He doesn't have school and it's GCSE. Holding him back now, so we will see him get more minutes. I mean, I don't know. I just feel that Mikel Arteta still thinks he's not there yet. That's my problem. My problem. It's not about how you perceive him or how Oregon gonna perceive him. It's about how the manager perceives him. I think the manager is looking at him and saying, "Bro, you're not there yet." And I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Protect him, yes, but
this is
protecting
again. It's Rossi, it's all about protecting him. It's about finding the games. Hey, Miss Melina.
Miss Melina, Arsenal Queen.
I think it's about, again, like I was saying, putting Dalman in the right environment for him to succeed and build that confidence. Right? Again, play him against some of the lower table teams. Play him in all the FA.
Miss Melina gives us 13 Canadian dollars. Big
superstar.
What a lady. What a lady. Big ups. Big ups. Miss Melina.
Miss a radio Melina. Superstar guy.
Vinicius Jr. is coming. Miss Melina, I don't know what kind of dance you're going to, orchestrate this time, because if Vinny is coming, I know you wanna party, you wanna dance.
Right.
Come on, Miss Melina, tell me what you're going to do. What are you going to do when Vinicius Jr. shows up to the carpet, Miss Melina? I know you're buzzing for that one. I reckon you were saying something, bro. Thanks for the super
I don't
chat,
remember
man.
now. I don't remember now. Miss Melina
I don't remember.
and drew my attention away. Took my attention away. No, we were talking about TZOLIS, right? Yeah, TZOLIS, and just I think he's joined the club because, well, obviously it's Arsenal. Number two is that I think he realizes he's probably not the first string guy when you're talking like Vinicius Jr. coming in. I just, but we have to have players like that are better than what we got, right? He's still better than Reiss Nelson. He's better than Fabio Vieira. I know they play different positions, but at this point in time, it's like we've got still more deadwood to sell off. Like, what is going on with Reiss Nelson? The guy's been on loan. I think he was on loan at Portland Timbers here for some
bro.
I lose track of where these guys are because we shuffle them in and out, and we pay some of the wages for that, I'm sure, right? We split the wages or what have you, but I just like it's 2026, and we're talking about Reiss Nelson finally actually getting sold. Like, what are we doing? So this is where I kind of question some of this, right?
Awesome.
But that's all money for Vinny.
Get him off. Get him off the wage bill, please. I beg you.
Free
Get him off.
Free Fabio Vieira.
We don't need those kind of players right now, bro. Yeah. Thanks for your service. Have a nice severance package. Bye-bye. We'll look on to greater things. It is what it is. It comes with the territory. When you're champions, you should be scaling. We should be scaling, yeah? Should be getting higher. We shouldn't be dragged, back into a dogfight with all these, mediocre players. Yeah, we're now in the level of Vinicius Juniors, the Bruno Guimaraes. That's our level. That's where we are, and that's why we're in the market everywhere. You're looking for the biggest of players in the business. This is where we are. As Arsenal Football Club, we deserve this because we've suffered enough. So people, all this Nelson, Jesus, they need to be moved. And again, thanks to Beretta, people, while we criticize, all this other aspects, we also have to give credence to what Andre Beretta is doing. £7 million from Everton for Nordgaard. That's good business for a player we only brought in for about 10 million, bro, at his age, and we're flinging him off for about £7 million. Big up to Andre Beretta. Come on, man. It doesn't get better than this, Oregon, one last one before we go,
Sure.
Rivals. Chelsea have just, for some reason, they've just gotten in touch with an ancestor, who's older than the manager in Henderson. They've signed Henderson. Bro,
is that a done deal? That's a done deal?
That's a done deal. It's a done deal, bro. Yeah? It's a done deal. They've signed Henderson, an ancestor, who is even more older than the manager. Throw that all away if you can't chew that, bro. Yeah? Chelsea have also managed to close that deal for Danny Welbeck, a player Arsenal spat out. Bro, it's over. Bro, it's touching nearly 10 years ago. Over a decade ago, we threw that guy away. Yeah, people. Chelsea have
up the scraps.
I've crawled into the dungeon of Brighton to go block out Danny Welbeck. Bro,
well, let me ask you this, Tony. I know it's crazy, but if you're Chelsea and you're 1-1 away at Spurs, right, or even at Arsenal, and it's the 80th minute, do you want Rory Delap coming on, or do you want Danny Welbeck to come on? I think I would take Danny Welbeck 1,000% of the time over Rory Delap.
Bro, what is this? Bro,
what a slap in the face to Rory Delap.
What is this?
Welbeck.
Oregon,
behind João Pedro.
Compare and contrast. This is where I'm going to. We have our rivals here, getting all these clown players, Sancho's Man United making a meal out of that. Andre Santos getting Telemans. Decent player though, but not in far off than decent average. Player. Chelsea going to bring in an ancestor in Jordan Henderson. a finished player.
Well,
I mean, experience counts, but he's an
right. But that's the thing, right? Because they spent, Tony, they spent millions. They spent millions on young players, right?
Yeah. Let's not.
But Chelsea was buying every young player in the league. We need some senior leadership there.
Going and bringing in Danny Welbeck. See, bro, yeah, we have our rivals bringing on these clown players. Yeah, we have all. All this.
I think the Danny Welbeck signing is actually pretty good.
Title, bringing in all this clown players, bro, and we are in for Bruno Guimaraes, Vinicius Jr, the big time players in the world, in the business. Yeah, is anyone going to stop us from winning this title in this way? How? Where? Let me know. Who's going to challenge? Who has a pair of balls to challenge it, bro? When we're talking of Vini, talking of Bruno, and these mans are bringing these clown players, ancestral spirits like Henderson, Welbeck, bro, the Santos, Telemans, bro. Bro, this should be a slam dunk Premier League title, bro.
Yeah, maybe so, Tony. We can only wait and see, right? We can only wait and see what's going to happen here the next few weeks. But the thing is that, again, if you're looking at financial comparisons, you're looking at Morgan Rogers for, let's say, 120 mil, right? If you were to round it up, right? For another 55 mil, you can get Vini Jr.
Signing, though. I have to give that.
Right? It's like, let Chelsea do what they're going to do, because they bought every single young talent over the last 3 seasons. It hasn't really amounted to much, right? Since they won the Champions League with Kai Havertz. So it hasn't really amounted to much. And now they're just finding out some of that younger talent isn't that good. And unfortunately, we picked up Madueke under that. And they basically let, Kai Havertz open the door. The Danny Welbeck, to be honest, makes sense to me, but the Jordan Henderson one is completely out of left field. They're just giving him a place to land. But I think in their eyes, they're seeing this as like a senior player that can rap at all the young guys like Mudryk, attitude, Enzo Fernandez, who's like hated now in world football, right? So Chelsea, I think, are trying to maybe go back to cleaning up their image a little bit. And let's remember, Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer were youths in the Man City system. So they know each other from being kids with Man City. So I know they're close friends as well. That could have been part of it. Cole Palmer having his say, saying we need to get Rodgers in. But I'm not concerned about Chelsea. I'm just concerned about getting this marquee signing Vini Jr. over the line right now. And then we can look ahead to the games. We can not worry so much about what our rivals do. Because if we sign Vini Jr., that's real intent. That shows more intent than any of our rival clubs right now. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's just go make it happen, Berta.
Let's just go make it happen, says Oregon Gunner. Final words. And of course, Drew Gunners asked something here. He says, Bruno and Vini come in. Can we expect any more surprises in the transfer window?
I don't think so. I think that's it. Unless we bring in the Ramon.
A defender.
How about a defender? Yeah, well, I've heard Ramon, the defender for Como, excuse me.
Como. Yeah, put our rivals on Como. Yeah, that's what we want. On the contrary,
if we bring in a younger,
our enemies in the Como.
Right, no, Como, right, village in Italy, but for Cesc Fabregas, getting one of their center backs. I guess this guy's pretty decent, for a young center back. So I think, though, to be honest, we're safe, bro. With Saliba being out for 2 or 3 months, Hincapié, Mascara, Calafiori, even you could, unfortunately, maybe throw Ben White in there, which I don't think will happen anymore. But I think we'll be okay, Tony. But I wouldn't mind bringing in this Ramon guy. I think he's Argentinian, actually. Give another young center back a chance when he's 19, 20 years old. If we can bring him in for 3 or 4, 5 mil.
Should we be investing in a defender or in a high caliber defender only to put that defender on the bench, though? Because there's no defender that is going to come into Arsenal right now and as we speak and bench Saliba.
That's over 50 mil.
The question I'm asking right now, since we lost out to Chelsea in that Lacroix signing, and I don't necessarily like Lacroix, though, so good riddance to bad rubbish. But Should we be? I'm sorry, I take a piece on this rivals.
Yeah,
I don't like them. But Oregon, yeah. Do you think we should be investing 60, 70 million pounds, or is that wasted money right now in your own perception? Right now,
this is what we talked about. I think a couple weeks ago. I think that would be wasted money because a center back that comes to Arsenal of any real solid quality.
Big up Bagger. Me and Bagger will be coming back very soon with our opener. Yeah, the charity shield. Yeah, people. Me and my guy Bagger will be back. Yeah, opening the season. It doesn't get better than this. Yeah, me and Bagger will be controlling our own Champions League. Yeah, until our friend Guinea talks to us. If he doesn't talk to us, no problem. Me and him will start our Champions League games, our Premier League matches, all to ourselves, people. Come and catch me and Bagger start of the season, people. How about that? Big up to Bagger. Yeah, man. We're saying something.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to spend over 50 mil for a defender. Could be good, decent, right? 50, 55 mil. You could find a good defender for that, right? Pretty much anywhere in Europe. But if, we're finding this young talent who's already, achieved, some level of success with Como, right? I think they finished in the top 4, if I'm not mistaken, in Italy. So,
yeah.
I think if, Fabregas gets in Arteta's ear, says, hey, I got this guy, if we show interest, yeah, I'm all for like keeping the cycle going, right? I know we're going to backfill positions, right? Just like we did with Messier, just like we could do with the center back from Como. We are going to have some backfill, right? But that should not deter us from getting the prize of Vinicius Jr. On the on that left-hand side, right? But we need to pull out all the stops for that, which it looks like we have financially. I will wait and see. I think the next this week will be crucial, and we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited for Guimaraes signing up, tomorrow, essentially with his medical, or still 9 o'clock there. So anyway, great show today, Tony.
Big show, people, and we've come to the end, people, of the show. Oregon Guinea, man, what a show! Nearly 2 hours of hard-eating questions, conversations, people. It doesn't get better than this. Me and Oregon Guinea are doing justice, to this space. Bro, I think we might have had nothing less than nearly 200 comments on the show today, bro. I mean, lots and lots of comments today. We have Drew Gunners giving us 20 jewels today. One of my best friends on this space, Drew Gunners. And of course, Miss Melina gifts us $13.99 Canadian dollars. Big ups to Miss Melina. We love Miss Melina. Miss Melina, come on, my buddy. Let's get to work this season. Let's work. We're champions. Forget these enemies. Let's work. Let's eat. Let's eat, Miss Melina. Yeah?
There you
go. This is the time where we have to put these enemies, to the floor and on their bums. Come, let's do something. Yeah?
Back.
Big up to you, Miss Melina. We love you. Big up to Bag of Two. He'll be down here in that Community Shield a game, me and him opening up the season. Me and Oregon gonna have already started our opening already. Second episode of the Dal N Claude show. People, I mean, you have to join us next week, because by that next week, I think me and Oregon Guna would have at least gotten a panoramic view of what's really going on with this Vinicius Jr. signing. I'm over the Bruno one. It's old news. We're signing him. Yeah, he's already in the carpet. Medical build for tomorrow. People, we will get a here we go by tomorrow evening. I'm so sure of it. Yeah, throw that all away. Vinicius Jr. next week will be a pivotal time, and process on that deal, because his Rock Nation goes directly into the meeting table with Real Madrid probably tomorrow on the first 3 days of this coming week, that we head into now. So whatever they're going to do, I heard they're gonna throw that Arsenal contract in front of Real Madrid board's faces and say, see, the English champions have just thrown this mammoth deal on Vinicius Jr. What are you doing? Do you want to consider right now? Because Arsenal is guaranteeing us 100% of his rights deal given to him, plus an astronomical sign-on fee and an astronomical matching of the wages that Real Madrid has refused to balk on that. So they're going to be throwing this at the faces of Florentino Perez and all these other goons at Real Madrid. Our prayers is that they stick to their word. We've been hearing in the media that, hey, enough is enough. We don't want to extend the deal. Yeah, right. It is what it is. Yeah, that's what we're praying for. Yeah, and I hope that's what Oregon is praying for too. So
yes, to
let's see.
Do
you have anything to say about that just before we go?
Make it happen. 3 words. Make it happen.
People. Oregon, what do you have coming up?
Not much. Not much. Just busy working, getting back in the swing of things, and just just hanging out. Let me know when you're available. I'm not available Thursday, but maybe available, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Okay.
So we'll
definitely get in.
Be here first for all the gossip, everybody.
Doing
for all the
sporadic
football
shows.
transfer gossip.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll be doing sporadic shows. We could even be doing 2 shows in a week. It depends on the spirit,
right.
That possesses us at the time. So we could be doing lots of shows multiple times in a week. It depends on juicy news and what happens with the Arsenal. So people, from me and my brother, people, my brother who have done justice today, people, justice for Max Dolman, justice for TZOLIS, justice for Vinicius Jr, justice for Bruno Guimaraes. People, it doesn't get better than this. Join us this coming week for the Dal N Claude show, episode 3. It's gonna be the bomb, people. Me and Dio of our new show together, Arsenal Unhinged. Crazy show. Yeah, me and Dio tomorrow. People, top goonery has never been seen before. Yeah, so come and see Dio do the best impression of top goonery that we ever would see on space, on YouTube space. Yeah, he's the toppest of gooners. I mean, people, even people in my own crew call me a top gooner, but people, that balanced, I could be a top over the top a little bit, I could be, it's a bit critical.
Yeah, you can be rational at times.
People, I have nothing on Dio, people. Dio is top gooner as it gets, it's the toppest of gooner. In this space, bro, I can count the amount of top gooners
close out the show.
That's done it consistently. Dio has to be one of the most.
I think we all get it.
I'm telling you, man, is the toppest of goonies. So people, join me for that one tomorrow, 7 p.m. Yeah, from me and Oregon Gooner. We're out. Peace out. Catch you tomorrow.